Hi, I'm Bill Vantuono, Editor-in-Chief of Railway Age, and I'm here with Christo Nielsen, who is Vice President of Leasing at RELAM, which stands for, Christo?
Railway, equipment, leasing, and maintenance.
And that says it all. So tell me about RELAM. You're a specialty equipment lessor, specifically maintenance of way.
I was just going to say, you stole the words right out of my mouth, but in our little niche industry of maintenance of way, RELAM has well over 1,000 units of yellow equipment and well over 350 of the white truck or white fleet, as we call it in the industry.
And those are terms that maybe not too many people are familiar with. Okay? Yellow equipment and white equipment.
Sure.
So the yellow equipment are the on-track machines.
Indeed, you're correct. So the yellow on-track machines, we specialize in tie renewal, rail replacement, surfacing. That would consist of most of our tie exchangers, spike drivers, and spike pullers. Rail replacement machines could be pettibone speed swings, and surfacing being production tampers and ballast regulators.
So your equipment comes from a wide variety of builders, of suppliers.
Indeed, you are correct. This room is actually filled with many of our OEM partners who are in many of our day-to-day business. We do parts, we do service, we do new equipment sales and rebuild opportunities and remanufactured of equipment. We partner with all of these same original equipment manufacturers because they are very in tune with our business and our customers. So RELAM is many times kind of the glue that holds many deals together. We offer a lot of the ability to kind of leverage operating budgets to make equipment today is very expensive. So utilizing your operating budget on a monthly basis will allow you to acquire a piece of machinery that much faster, or you could just rent. And we have a lot of people that even just rent for the season, year after year.
So in terms of the white equipment, those are the high rail trucks for all intents and purposes, but they do, that equipment can perform a variety of functions.
Indeed. So Wisconsin Trucking Equipment is part of the RELAM family as of January 1st, 2023. And with that acquisition also came an entire rental fleet of grapple trucks, rotary dumps. We can do bucket trucks, we can do welding trucks, section trucks, gang trucks, in addition to pickup trucks. So we can do F250, 350, 450, 550, 650, 750, and then you jump up to the larger chassis size.
How has business been? The maintenance away side of our industry, that takes up most of the capital budgets, a considerable amount of the capital maintenance, regular maintenance. It's the largest chunk, and so there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, I think you said it very well. The industry is booming. The RELAM business is booming. I think it all comes down to today we are doing everything that we can to put a piece of equipment in every customer's hands who is in need of a piece. So it doesn't matter if it's a small spike puller to a large production tamper. We're doing everything we can with partners, with our own facilities. We operate out of two main facilities in St. Louis and Cleveland, Ohio. And between the two, we are delivering equipment every day to customers all over North America.
Now, your customer base in terms of the railroads, is it primarily freight, or are there also some passenger agencies mixed in? Commuter rail, Amtrak. The track is the same pretty much. Same components, same maintenance away needs.
Another great question. Our customers are anyone involved with rail. It could be an industrial siding of a site that does grain, all the way to a Class 1 railroad, including those transits. So we have the opportunity to fit the mold of what the customer is actually looking for. Our Class 1 partners may have desperate needs in surfacing, and there could be another Class 1 that is in desperate need of renting an entire tie team. Same thing with, you mentioned Amtrak. They have government-funded projects that might happen in Michigan and in the upper Northeast, and we fill holes. I think there's a niche place in the market for where RELAM fits with each customer. I would venture to guess that there's a lot of differences in how people in, call it corporate, look at renting equipment, but when it gets down to what we are doing for the industry is filling a need and solving pain points, which could be equipment related. Maybe it's downtime. Maybe somebody's lost an entire machine due to an engine failure, long lead times on parts, or renting to own that type of piece of equipment. Especially with seasonal or short-term rentals, things are coming and going very frequently. And what that does is the offering is we might not have it today, but we actually will have it tomorrow. And we just need to put it into our repair schedule at any of our 4 repair facilities, and hopefully supply that to our projects all over North America.
So your business model is pretty fast-paced, you would say.
I would say fast-paced. I worked at 2 OEM partners prior to joining RELAM a little over 3 years ago, and I never knew it would be this fast-paced. Obviously, I said that we have close to 1,500 pieces of equipment, and that would mean that we're about shipping on one piece almost every day or every other day from one of our facilities.
That is quite a task.
I'd say. And actually, one of our largest tasks is for our operations groups. So the RELAM team meets regularly, but we meet regularly once a week, and we discuss all of our schedules, what the sales team has committed to our customers, and what the ops team is committing to the sales group, so that we're in line with what we're shipping, when, where, who, how much, and we're kind of in tune to make a productive a rental.
And you've got a chief operating officer who we're going to speak with momentarily. That's Danny Brown.
It is. That is Danny Brown. So him and I work very closely together. We work throughout the process on the front end when it's shipping a piece of equipment, to service and keeping the equipment running during the rental, as well as coming back after the rental is over and the repair process starts. Making clean, concise communication to our customers so that they know where they are or where the piece of equipment stands throughout the process.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Christo, for joining us. And next up is Danny Brown. So Danny Brown is Chief Operating Officer of RELAM. And, as Christo was mentioning, this is a very fast-paced business. In maintenance away for railroads, the customer can approach on any track at any time from any direction. So you've got a lot on your plate in terms of the amount of equipment that you handle and everything that goes in with that.
Yes, correct. So, first and foremost, operationally, we're here to serve not only our commercial team, but also our customer base, to provide them with the safest, the most reliable roadway work equipment that we can. And I'm sure Christo touched on the difference between the yellow fleet and the white fleet. So my scope of responsibility through Glen Willow, which is Cleveland, Ohio, and Granite City, Illinois, which is out of St. Louis, Missouri, is to ensure the safe and reliable production of that work equipment. And you mentioned it's a very reactionary industry. Contractors often don't have months to plan out what assets they're going to need to complete those jobs. So we have to forecast that, utilizing the years of experience that RELAM has collected to understand what asset classes are needed at what times of the year. And part of that process is just trying to ensure that when the reactionary nature of this business, you have floods, when the washouts come, we need our rotary dumps and we need our tampers and our regulators. In the winter, we need our snow fighting equipment. In the summer, we need our rail, tie, and surfacing equipment to be ready to go in the spring for the summer work season. So it's always, first and foremost for us is safety for our employees, and then safety for our customers to ensure that the reliability of the product meets the demands that they have.
And now with weather getting more extreme, on both ends of the spectrum, from hot to cold, and everything that entails. You mentioned floods and wildfires, and it's got to be a lot to keep up with.
It is. So, combined entities, RELAM and Wiscursion, we have almost 100 employees now. And we have 900 pieces of yellow iron or yellow fleet, and roughly about 400 pieces of white fleet or high rail pickups that are deployable across, our Class 1 partners, our short line partners, our transit authorities throughout North America, and our contractor base. So in every one of those silos, there's a different reactionary process. Typically with the transits, there's a better planning model that's put in place. It's very specifically spec'd equipment, so we don't have that reactionary problem. But even with the Class 1s, most specifically with our contractors, you mentioned the wildfires or the washouts. We don't know when that inclement weather is going to come and the shutdowns that will occur. So we have to be prepared in order to meet that demand.
So let's take a hypothetical situation on a Class 1 railroad. A major main line has a washout because of a hurricane. Okay, they're called weather events these days. So when that occurs, and you folks spring into action, what happens?
So when that occurs, first and foremost, our Class 1 partners, they have a robust fleet and professional management, and so they have their emergency response teams. And then what they'll do is figure out what they need very quickly, where their shortcomings are, and they'll work with the dirt work people, they'll work with the forestry people, and then they'll work with us on the track side. And so they'll say, we need 5 rotary dumps, we need, if you have ballast cars, if you have loaders, high rail cranes, and so we go to work immediately for them. And we typically do keep 1 or 2 of every one of those available to the extent that we can. And again, these weather events are unpredictable now. There's no real season for when that is going to happen, right? So we're just trying to stay ahead of it, Bill, and just making sure that we're serving the customers.
And how do you have equipment spotted throughout the country? Are there certain locations where you can access equipment and make it available? That's depending upon who the customer might be.
Correct. So geographically, we're headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. So we keep about 50 to 75 pieces domiciled there. And then in St. Louis, Missouri, we have around another 75 to 100 pieces, which is more centrally located. But we also have partner facilities with some of our OEM partners that do running repair and maintenance for us. So we have central Illinois locations, central Kansas locations. We have an Oakdale, California, which is just outside of Sacramento, and a partnership with a short line running repair facility for us. And we have some assets down south in Alabama. So we try to partner with those people who are geographically dispersed. So we have an additional probably 75 units throughout the United States that are domiciled and ready to go. And that's really a difficult task, try to understand what needs the California market will have versus the Alabama market, versus the northern states. And so we're always, it's also a service to our customers. When we have the more laydown yards or more partner facilities, one of the largest expenses to our contractor short line and even Class 1s is the freight. Most of this equipment does not move by rail, obviously, it moves by truck. And it's very expensive. So having the multiple different facilities, the multiple different partnerships that we do reduces their cost to deploy that asset to the field.
What is the typical life cycle on, let's say, a tamper? All right, how many years can you get out of a tamper? How many times is it rebuilt or refurbished or modernized in some cases, maybe upgraded with new electronics or new features, whatever?
So that depends on who's operating it and if they're doing proper preventative maintenance. But making the assumption that the asset is being properly operated and that they're doing their preventative maintenance, you can get roughly, the rule of thumb is about 10,000 hours on a heavier frame machine like a tamper, a stabilizer, a ballast regulator, and somewhere around 7,500 hours on a smaller unit, puller, a spike driver, or tie crane. And it just has to do with the frame and the robustness of the components that are on those assets. And at that 10,000 hour mark, say on a tamper, in that 10,000 hours, it could be, 5 to 10 years, depending on, asset utilization. Is it deployed in a productive environment on a Class 1, or is it deployed to a transit or a contractor that may only work that asset 6 months a year? But at that 10,000 hour or 10-year mark, you want to bring it in, you want to go down to the frame, inspect everything, make sure that the frame is still in good shape, and then you work with your OEM partners and you do what you call a rebuild upgrade. So every one of the OEMs, Nordco, Kershaw, Knox Kershaw, and Harsco Rail will sell you a bundled kit, as they do to the Class 1s, to refresh that fleet. And so it's roughly 10 years, 10,000 hours on a tamper or a ballast regulator. And at that point, they give us a new serial plate and say, yes, this machine has been rebuilt, remanufactured, and here's your newborn on date. And that's supported by those OEMs. So any of the new electronics, right now you're seeing a lot with CAN bus, right, which is 3 to 4 different vendors, and it reduces the amount of point-to-point wiring that we have on some of the legacy equipment, and just makes them more reliable. And there's some predictive maintenance features that come into that. And so as technology progresses, we have to update our fleet, and we only have 2 choices. We can rebuild the assets we own, or we can sell and then buy new.
Well, Danny, thanks so much for joining us. You've got your you have a busy schedule. Every day it's relentless, I guess, right?
Every day. Yep, it is, certainly. It's always something, always moving. This city, that city, this crew, that crew, this, railroad, this short line, whatever it is, we're here to serve them and make sure that they get a safe and reliable piece of equipment.
This is Daniel Doherty, a member of the RELAM team. And Daniel, what do you do for RELAM?
I am the fleet manager and business sales manager over the Midwest.
So your territory encompasses how many states, or
All of
a lot?
Middle of America. Yep. So.
Is that also Canada?
No, we have a reg that handles just Canada. So. Yep.
So what does your typical day look like?
Helping the team pick out machines for our next rentals. Working with each shop to make sure that we're working on the right equipment and the equipment that's needed. And just managing all the equipment, making sure that we are putting out equipment for our customers when they need it. So, yep.
And as I've gathered, it's a very fast-paced business. Would you agree?
Yes. Yep. Normally we get a call and they need it tomorrow. So, trying to manage what we have available in each location and making sure that we have it ready. So, yep.
So you're a busy guy,
Very busy.
as all of you are.
Yes. Yeah.
How many pieces of equipment are you directly responsible for?
About 800 of the MOW fleet, and then Wisconsin.
Yellow fleet.
Yes, the yellow fleet. Yes. Yep. And we have 2 locations that we own for repairs, but then we have other third parties that we manage. Hey, help us out with those repairs, and I'm managing that process to make sure that they're working on what needs to be worked on. So, yep. Sales team comes to me. They say, hey, I need a spiker next week. I'm telling them which one's going to be ready next week and where it's at. So, yep.
So you're the go-to guy.
I'm the go-to guy, yep. My main goal is to make sure production and sales are on the same page. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good talking with you.
Yep, thank you.
So relatively new to RELAM, actually January 1st of 2023, is Wisconsin Truck and Equipment LLC. Bobby Wisconsin is a VP of sales.
Correct.
And this is a family-owned business that started a number of years ago, and this is the white truck side of the business. So
rubber tires.
The rubber tire side. Okay. Utilizing Ford and
Western Star.
Ford and Western Star products. So give us a little background about Wisconsin and your relationship with RELAM.
So Wisconsin Truck started back in 2014. It started out as my dad, Rob Wisconsin, started the business. It was myself and 2 other employees that started it. And we just kind of started from the ground up. We bought used chassis, and we were actually getting them from Canada. Brought them down into the States and started building high rail trucks and started a rental fleet and just continued to grow it with some of our suppliers that have helped us out through the years. And as we grew, we started to get more and more well known, and RELAM was actually one of our customers that we had built rental trucks for. And when it came time to selling, there were a couple of people interested in. RELAM was our best fit, so we ended up going with them, and now the relationship just continues as a whole team.
So, what types of equipment do you build? Are there, as you said, the White Fleet rubber tire trucks? What's your product line?
We build grapple trucks, track inspector trucks, welding trucks, maintainer trucks, just about anything that you're going to see out on tracks. Truck-wise, we will build.
And these are all high rail vehicles, correct?
Yes. Just about everything we do is high rail. We do a lot of service work in our shop as well, so that dabbles into loggers, tree service, tree care guys, but our main niche is high rail.
Well, so Bobby, I guess you'd describe your relationship with RELAM as very symbiotic. You know, it's a good fit.
Yes, absolutely. We try to help each other both ways, truck-wise and the other equipment-wise. We all communicate extremely well. We talk to each other just about every day and try to help each other out as much as we can.
And the rail maintenance away side it's always there, never goes away. There's no substitute for excellent track, safe track.
No, and hopefully it's here to stay for a long time afterwards as well.
I think so. Thanks so much for joining us,
No
Bobby.
problem. Thank you very much.